I was asked by the panelists just to have a conversation first and to share a little bit about this notion of I don't see color, and that happens, and that comes up a lot within the industry. And what I want to say to you today is these panelists want you to see them. They want you to see them fully, and if you don't see color, then you don't see them. And so the idea behind saying I don't see color, the idea behind it, sure, perhaps the intent is positive, but what we want you to do is to see them and see them fully, right? Who you see sitting before you is a Black woman, and there are experiences in my life that align with that identity, and those experiences are important, and they're important to me, so I do need you to see me fully, and I need you to see the panelists fully, but what we want you to do is to not make those rash decisions that we often do because of biases that form around that. So we want you to see our skin color. We just don't want you to make decisions based on our skin color. So I just wanted to share that before we get started. So if that's in your head, and you can push it all the way to the back and really focus on seeing everybody on this stage fully today.
I think being a woman, first of all, and secondly, being an Indian, those are things that I can't change about myself. So when somebody looks at me and judges me based on that, I think we can all agree it can be a little unfair. There are things that matter in the sense that talk about my qualification and about what kind of worker I might be in an industry, and that you can find on my resume upon interacting with me, having conversations about different kinds of topics. But I guess sometimes we get stuck on what we see right in front of us rather than trying to dig under the surface. And being an Indian and being a woman is definitely a big part of who I am, but it's not all that I am.
For me is always, trying to break that barrier and really show, no, I am here, not but because of my color, but because, the qualifications that I do have and that the qualities that I can bring to this team that are very different from anyone else.
Yeah, I think that those are really good points that you made, because I think we want people to know that we're not being hired because of our color, right? When we talk about the DEI efforts and the importance of representation, it's like it's the opposite. We don't want to be excluded because of our color, right? So it's very common in hiring practices across industries for people to be attracted to or to hire people that are just like them. And we aren't just like a lot of the people that are in leadership positions. So I really, really appreciate you sharing that one.
When my company and my people had my back and showed me support and actually spoke up to his managers that this is not acceptable, that really made me feel included and taken care of, and that I was valued.
Nice. I think that's so great, because that's that sort of like, we need people to intervene. Like, it can't always be us. Like, the number of microaggressions and things that we face during the day, we hear the word ally a lot, and what you just described to me sounds like a true ally, that somebody was going to face it head on, so that you didn't have to. But what is most important to you, just in terms of what you want folks to leave here with? And Bree, I want to start with you, because I want you to just share a little bit, since this summit is sort of your dream, and brought sort of your passions together. So tell us a little bit about why we're here today, how it came to be, and then what you hope for people to take away from today.
Absolutely. This diversity summit started as something that wasn't even a diversity summit. It was an independent study with my professor, and just trying to figure out a different way I can grow within my education. We started out with a pamphlet on the different careers that you can have within civil engineering. And I took it upon myself to go to the career fairs and ask questions about, what kind of job you have, the hours you work, what kind of things you look into when you are in your job. And one question that I did bring up is more focused on the experience that Black, Indigenous, people of color, those experiences that they have coming into this industry, exiting college, and just the experiences that they have within the industry and overall. And so when I would ask these people at the career fair what they think the experience is like for Black, Indigenous, people of color, most of the time they said, I don't see color. And we touched briefly on why saying I don't see color is a little problematic. And after receiving a lot of those answers along those lines of I don't see color, we all start from the same place, we all have the same education, I went back to Professor Matt Morris and I said, this is something that kind of bugged me because of the experiences that I've had as an individual. And from there, he created that safe space I mentioned earlier just to talk about my experiences in the industry as an intern and how I wish to see things differently. So from that, we created this event to really just have people really take a second and reflect on what other people's experiences are in the industry and how to make them better and more, I guess, have everyone have almost the equivalent experience that they can have in their job, but also recognizing the differences that everyone has in their background and in their current position.
Yeah, it's just amazing that we're all here today because of sort of what her vision was. But I also want to emphasize what you said. We talk a lot about representation and how representation is important. But Professor Morris, I'm assuming I shouldn't make assumptions, but I'm assuming you identify as a white male. Am I correct? Where? Oh, you're back there. Sorry. Okay. And the reason that I bring that up and why I think that it's so important is because she talked about where she felt that safe space for the first time, right? It was him that provided the safe space that led to us all being here today. And so as you think about in your workplace and the ways that you can contribute, even if you're not a person of color, it wasn't a person of color that gave her the space that she needed.